You're welcome back. Education Minister Dr. Yao Tuchum is reiterating government's commitment to reforming teacher training in Ghana. The minister, who today spent some time commissioning and inaugurating 17 governing councils of some colleges of education across the country, disclosed to Joy News an elaborate plan to deal with the infrastructural deficit confronting colleges of education across the country. He also added that beyond the issue of infrastructure, a lot more will be done, which will be targeted at churning out hands-on and practically oriented teachers who will in turn improve the basic education sector.
I think we've done 10 so far. We have 7 more to go, and we'll have completed about 27 councils out of the 40 plus. So today is, I think, a historic day. We've never done this many before, but so far it's going on smoothly. Colleges of education play a pivotal role in education in the country, and getting their boards established and inaugurated are a very important aspect of my work as a minister, and we are grateful to the President for giving us this opportunity. I think all the colleges that came through their council, they're enthusiastic, they want to bring about transformation, and we encourage them to do so. So I'm grateful that you all came to cover this event today. The colleges are getting new facilities. Every college is getting a 300-bed hostel so that they can increase enrollment. That's a principal obligation of the government, and we believe in most of the campuses, construction has begun. We also want them to prepare the trainees to suit the deployment of the new curriculum. Student-centered learning environment should begin from the colleges, so that the teachers, when they graduate, will be well-versed in creating a student-centered learning environment. If the colleges are producing trainees or training the trainees in a lecturer-directed environment, it will be difficult for them to transition into student-centered teaching and learning environment. So thank you.
Secretary Minister there, joining us via Zoom, Professor Jonathan Fletcher, key advisor, teaching and learning partnership at T-TEL. Larry K. Agbado is an editor, the Colleges of Education Weekly Journal. Thank you, gentlemen, for joining us. Prof, an assurance there by the sector minister that indeed infrastructure will be dealt with aggressively in all the training colleges. And is this the only issue confronting the colleges? And what more could be done to reform teacher training?
Well, thank you very much. And let me take this opportunity to say hi to your cherished viewers. Yes, infrastructure is key. In fact, that is perhaps the one most important, single most important aspect of the college, the things that colleges of education need. And I think when that is solved, a lot of other problems will, because it's like, if you need a library, you need to build a library, a building before you get the books and so on. So therefore, infrastructure is key. This is the thing that is actually going to turn these colleges of education into real tertiary institutions.
What more beyond the structures?
Well, of course, as an institution, and also let's bear in mind that these are specialist institutions designed to train quality teachers for our basic education institutions. And therefore, all they are doing is making sure that they get the right resources. First of all, they need to get the right staff. They need to get the right equipment. They need to get the resource, the teaching and learning materials that they need. But as I said earlier, once the infrastructure has been sorted, these other things can be sorted too, because as I said, if it's a library that you need the buildings first, and then you can stop the buildings with resources.
And for you, Larry, of course, 17 new governing councils, adding up to the earlier 10, making them 27. Why is it taking us so long to get these governing councils?
All right, thank you very much, Blessed. I think this has been over 2 years now, since the election in 2020. We were hoping that as a country, since it's the same party that was retained, there was no need to dissolve the councils. But I'm told there are issues of legalities where the former council had to be dissolved and then the government has to reconstitute a new council. And it has taken us close to 2 years to do that now. It's better late than never at all. So we commend the minister and most importantly, the President of the Republic for constituting the council. So far, we have 27. We still have about 19 more to go. And we are hoping that within the time left before the year ends, we should have the rest, 19 colleges also having their councils inaugurated.
We're having a bit of a difficulty hearing you. If you could just speak up for us a bit. The issue about some reforms that are on the table of the sector minister as part of issues that he needs to address. We understand you put up a document after a stakeholder dialogue on that. What are some of the key factors beyond the issue of the infrastructure? Because the government, through the minister, is giving us indication that some new structures will be springing up across all the colleges of education. What more did you put in that document, which is before the minister?
So in that document, I think just on Sunday, we had a discussion on where there were issues of conditions of service for CTAG members. There was a meeting today. We are yet to get the outcome of that meeting to know how things went. Currently, as we speak, the colleges are still down. Things are still not picking up yet because of that CTAG mandatory leave. We are hoping that things will pick up from there. There are also other issues of a roadmap for colleges after their initial 4 years affiliation to the universities, their mentoring universities. In all, we are hoping that the minister, together with other stakeholders, will pick up these documents and then implement the resolutions that all the stakeholders that matter in teacher education came together to put up.
Prof, the issue about the conditions of service for trainings, the teacher lecturers in the various colleges of education, it's come up really strongly. Already we are getting minority asking that the teachers return to the classrooms in the interest of the students. But there's a core issue there about their conditions of service. Can we ever get to a point where, of course, their conditions will be equal to that of those in the public universities?
Well, of course. I think it's possible. I think we need to do that as soon as we can to prevent a situation where most of these colleges of education tutors are actually leaving to look for greener pastures, so to speak, in the universities, because that's the only thing that will make sure that they attract, the quality staff and non-teaching and teaching that they need, the colleges need. So I think it's one of the things that we need to be serious about, making sure that the conditions of service are improved significantly, so that we can keep the loyal tutors who have been in the colleges for years, so that they'll be able to develop and produce and if you like, implement a curriculum which is new, which is a curriculum which is going to make sure that learning outcomes in our classrooms are enhanced.
The argument has been made that the entry-level qualifications vary, and the reason for which government is having some difficulties. Giving that grounds, would you advise CETA to tone down on their demands?
Well, I'm not sure about entry qualifications. I know the colleges of education are tertiary institutions, and therefore it's the same entry qualifications that you need to for university. Obviously, they all need 6 subjects and at least 6 credits. If you're talking about cutoff points, that's different. But they are equally qualified. A lot of them are qualified to enter into universities. It's just that for some reason they have opted to study in colleges of education. So as far as the entry qualification is concerned, I think that there's parity. What we need to do is to increase the resources in those colleges. And as I said, apart from infrastructure, you need resources, which will also make the tutors do the work that they're supposed to do.
Yes, but in this case, I'm talking about the tutors and the qualification upon which they are recruited to lecture in the various institutions. That's what I was referring to.
Oh, okay, then that's fine. Yes, right. Obviously, yes. There is a difference because, for example, the minimum qualification that a tutor in a college of education needs to teach in a college of education is a Master of Philosophy. In the universities, the minimum is supposed to be a PhD. So in that sense, yes, there is that difference. And obviously, as I said, because of that, there are a lot of colleges of education tutors trying to gain this minimum qualification that would enable them to to teaching universities. And a number of them, I mean, a lot of them have actually left the College of Education to go and work in the university. And that is not healthy, because if they are going to develop themselves and leave the college, then we're back to square one, because the people they are leaving behind aren't as experienced as they are. So much as I agree that the different qualifications are required to teach at this level, so I think it's important to make sure that the quality, conditions of service are improved enough or well to actually keep them in there. It's important for them to, after developing themselves, stay in the colleges of education and use the experience to good effect in there.
Let's wrap up on the issue of the thorny issue of the teacher training allowances. Larry, obviously, when you held that stakeholder dialogue, we do know that the students are kicking against any plan at all to cancel the monthly stipend. Government is backing them fully. The minister there indicating that he will not scrap the allowance. And yet some experts believe that we could be channeling the stipends into improving the conditions of what's happening on campus and even the lecturers. What's the consensus on this matter?
All right, so at the stakeholder engagement, we had the students strongly coming out to say that, look, government should dare not touch the allowances, maybe in the way of cancelling it, no? And fortunately for them, we had a Minister for Education also coming out strongly to say that government's priority is to continue with the payment of the trainee teachers allowance. So currently, I'm not sure we have any plan of cancelling the allowance. There's no discussion about that. The bigger discussion the students are requesting for is that they wouldn't want a case where the political parties will have to be using these allowances to campaign, like using it as a campaign tool in the colleges, because they feel that aside the allowance, there are other equally important issues that deserve attention in the colleges. We just heard of issues of infrastructure being mentioned by the minister. Prof talked about staff attrition in the colleges. There are other key issues in the colleges that deserve this national attention that we give to the issues of teacher trainees allowance. The colleges are now tertiary institutions, just like those from Winneba, UCC. For the first time in the history of Ghana, we are going to have graduates from these colleges coming out with BEd, that is Bachelor of Education. So as we seek to come out with the results of the reforms that have taken place over the past 4 or 5 years, at least we should also be looking at the equity among these institutions. But that's the conversation for another day. Having that conversation now will only amount to a whole different discussion now.
If there's an urgent need for reform, how soon should we be taking off with that? At least infrastructure, we know, may not end anytime soon. It may take some time.
Yeah, with regards to the infrastructure, the government is trying its best. Currently, we have all the 46 colleges of education being given, 300-bed hostel facilities, but that's not enough. Though they've started, but that's not enough. I've been going around the colleges in the past few weeks, and then I realized that even in some colleges, the project hasn't commenced yet, but you go to other colleges and they've passed the level of foundation and others. So we need some commitment on the part of government. You interact with some contractors that have been awarded contracts on these projects, and the key issue they mentioned is issue of funding. They really want to get the funds and get to site to work. So we also need some commitment on the part of government. There are other key issues. The infrastructure, as Prof said earlier, what we have is not enough, but it's better than none. We still need more, because now with a new program that is being run in the colleges of education, it's a 4-year program where you have students, all 4-year cohorts of students staying on campus fully. It's just a particular semester that students are out for practice. So the infrastructure is actually a key issue. Once we have the infrastructure in place, it affects other areas of their training.
Okay. Prof, your final thoughts on the issue of the allowances?
Very much, and I think it's something similar to the free feeding program in basic schools. I think for some students it will be extremely difficult to do without the allowances, and I think we need to consider that very carefully. It is also providing us with the opportunity to get people to go to or to enter into this colleges of education. And as I said, these are specialized institutions. They're not just institutions like our universities where you have a lot of programs being run. I mean, these colleges are running a Bachelor of Education program, and that's the main program they are running all over the country. And it's done in such a way that they are able to do a lot of practical work, and the allowance is actually supporting some of them to visit schools and do the training in school. So I think if we can afford it, why not? So that they will be able to use this allowance to improve their performance in the colleges, and also when they come out as teachers, they will be able to deliver the basic school curriculum successfully.
Professor Jonathan Fletcher, thank you for joining us.
Thank you very much.